Hello and welcome back to the story Nook. Today we are going to be reading. Hold on, let me go up to the cover image for you. Hello, I'm a witch and my crush wants me to make him a love potion. Alright, just want to make sure the colors show up kind of sort of okay. I just want you to see the full image, because it is cute. This is going to be what we're going to read today. We're going to read chapter 1. Let's look at this image here. Do. Making sure all of my stuff's off again. Is this the right one? No. Oops. Oh, that's not the right button. There we go. It was on 140. There we go. But here we are at our prologue that we're going to be reading. Yay! Go ahead, grab your juice, your water, your coffee, your tea, whatever it is you want to drink. Today, I'm drinking a semi-flat Baja Blast mixed with a dark rum, because that is what I had in my fridge. It's okay, I can day drink. I have nothing else to do today. Prologue. The Witch and the Heartbreaking Love Potion. Excuse me, is this the dwelling of the Witch of the Lake? Startled by the unexpected visitor, the witch Rose froze with her hand on the open door. She brushed pale pink locks of hair off her cheek and tucked them behind her ear. Standing in the doorway to Rose's not so very big, or rather quite small, home-turned-workplace was a man hidden deep under a cloak so as to avoid being seen. Yes, indeed, this is the dwelling place of the Good Witch of the Lake. I know this is sudden, but I'd like to make a request, the man tersely said, informing her of his business in a pretentious tone, accustomed to commanding others. The face she barely glimpsed under the hood was noticeably handsome, even in the dim lamplight. Rose knew who he was, even if he didn't offer his name. Harij Asim pulled the hood even lower over his beautiful face. I'm gonna struggle to pronounce this dude's name, just heads up. It was only natural for visitors to conceal their identity upon coming to see the witch. Coming to the witch's dwelling was a stain on one's reputation, for no one wanted to be hexed by a fickle witch. Swallowing hard, Rose watched Harij closely, wondering what absurd request brought the man who had no business here to her doorstep. Harij spoke with a solemn air. I want you to make me a love potion. Too shocked for words, Rose reflectively brought the lettuce she was holding to her lips. She chewed on it like a rabbit might. The crispiness of the tender leaf satisfactorily crunched between her teeth. Unfortunately, love potions are currently out of stock. Then I assume you can make more? Yes, I suppose. I might have botched that answer. Hidden just as well as Harij by her hooded robe, Rose realized too late that her evasive reply had failed to do its job. For Harij took her response to mean it could be done. In that case, I'll place an order. I will collect any ingredients you require. It's very expensive. I'll pay your asking price. And it will take quite a long time to prepare. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, but I hope you understand that you have no right to turn down my request. Munch, munch, gulp. Rose swallowed the rest of the lettuce. Hajij's overbearing command was punctuated by a surprising lack of guilt. And here we have our beautiful image. So you guys can see the actual beautiful image. Look at how pretty it is. I love it when they give us illustrations. Okay, hold on. We're just gonna turn off these filters for right now, so that you guys can enjoy the actual pretty image. Look at that. Oh, that reminds me. Who does the art here? Are they credited? The story is written by Eiko Mutsuhana and illustration is by Vient. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that is what it is titled. We're just gonna adjust the cropping. Alright. I think I missed the wrong crops, but it's okay. Continuing forward. The long tong 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 of the cowbell announced the visitor. Welcome! Did you bring what I asked? Darkness had fallen behind Hajij, who had set up the rattling cowbell above the door. The forest was creepy enough at night that even Rose, who had been born and raised here, feared it. Please come in, let me take your things for you. Rose took the lantern Hajij carried, then urged him to hand over his sword next, earning a fierce scowl from her guest. He likely didn't want to be defenseless in the presence of a mysterious witch. Nevertheless, Rose remained calm in the face of his pointed glare, as of which she always made a point of not letting her emotions show. Hajij grudgingly removed his overcoat, unbuckled the leather sword belt around his waist, and removed the scabbard. Rose stole a glance at Hajij's face. While accepting his things, she already knew of his beauty, but seeing his handsome face nearly drew a sigh of awe from her. Under his taut but elegantly slanted brows, almond-shaped eyes glinted. His ultramarine eyes glistened like the surface of the lake on a snowy day. The tips of his shapely ears were tinged pink from the cold night air. Ashen locks covered those ears as if to protect them. His face, beautiful as a statue, carved by the best sculptor in the kingdom, made her weak in the knees. Unfortunately, irritation was the only expression to grace his features thus far. Rose hung his heavy sword and overcoat on the coat rack. She then placed his lit lantern on top of the fireplace. Hajij slipped inside the witch's abode and closed the door behind him. This was the seldom visited witch's hermitage, where those who had no business never dropped by. Deep inside the forest located on the outskirts of the royal capital, a hovel sat alone on a small island in the middle of a lake. The lake was like a giant puddle surrounded by a large forest. In spring, colorful flowers bloomed. In summer, the surroundings were covered in greenery. In autumn, the trees turned a fiery red. And in winter, pure white snow carpeted the lake. The hovel was built in secret in a place away from civilization. So beasts visited more frequently than people, and even they rarely ventured across the lake to see her. Only a small boat connected the hermitage to the forest. The dinghy had been in use since her grandmother's time and was moored with a rope tied around the stake at the dock jutting out from the forest side. There wasn't anything as fancy as a boatman hanging around to take people out, so anyone who wished to make a request of the witch had to row out to her themselves. Only the tiny shack that teetered on the edge of being blown away and a single garden maintainable by a single woman existed on the island in the middle of the lake. Rose, the woman known as Witch of the Lake, lived out there all alone. She was a witch. Her mother was a witch. Thus, she was born a witch. She had lived alone with her grandmother since she'd lost her mother at an early age. Her grandmother passed away 4 years ago, leaving Rose completely alone. The hovel where they lived together was so cramped it didn't feel big even after it was just her. The interior, illuminated by small lamps, was always dim, and the cauldron used to brew potions occupied most of the floor space. The walls were almost entirely stacked with storage cabinets. Books were messily crammed into the mismatched shelves, with herbs and powder satchels bursting from the gaps. In addition to cleaning tools such as brooms and mops, strange staves that served unknown purposes and scrolls bent at the top were stuffed into the vases placed randomly around the room. The floor was in an even worse state, for it was so littered with objects visitors had to watch their step. Nothing was more eerie than the blackened carpeted that looked ominously similar to old bloodstains. Spices and herbs, furs, dried food, and other essential items for making potions hung from the ceiling, permeating the room with a heavy, astringent smell. Thus, the only space left for guests consisted of a small table and a simple wooden chair right by the entrance. Of course, the table had long since been transformed into another storage space, with no tablecloth or place to put down a cup. "Let me check what you brought." Rose held out both hands. Hartridge removed the leather bag from his belt, his condescending eyes never letting go of the witch. "You wanted the liver of a fire rat intoxicated by the ultrasonic waves of a muffler bat, right?" Rose accepted the soiled bag without cringing. Cluttered with the books and herbs, the table had no space left to lay out the contents. She forced the objects to the side with a hard push to make room for the ingredients. Hard lines formed in Hartridge's shadowed brow. Once a suitable amount of space was made, Rose placed a lit lamp there. Orange light illuminated the table. She carefully unfurled the bag. "Yes, this is what I require. It appears as though you paid extra care not to harm the liver during the skinning process. I haven't seen the organs left in such impeccable shape in a long time." With a veiled expression, Rose closely examined the organ that might make a young lady of marriageable age faint to hear the process of its removal, then raised her impressive gaze to the client. Hartridge nodded in an effort to remain calm. "Now you can yes, I can finally ask you for the next ingredients. Next I need..." "You need more?" Startled by the loud voice, Rose jumped about 3 fingers high into the air. Her loose robe puffed out like a blanket in the wind. Piles of dust kicked up off the floor. "How many times have you sent me out already? Last time you wanted the pollen of a flower that only blooms on the edge of a certain precipitous cliffside. Before that, you asked for the first drop of rain. The next time before that, it was the root of a plant that lets out a death cry. Each ingredient takes an immense amount of time to acquire, and yet you refuse to ask me for more than one at a time. Capital punishment would befall a royal pharmacist who did business like you." Until now, Hartridge had patiently collected the ingredients, but his patience had run out. "I mean, yeah, could you just give me a list, please?" He took an angry step towards her. In response, Rose tugged the hood further over her face. The already petite witch looked even smaller when she shrunk down. Seeing her trembling inside her baggy clothes must have struck Hartridge with guilt, for he quickly knelt before her. "Sorry for raising my voice." "Don't be. It was dazzling." "Huh?" "Your face is too handsome." Hartridge's face, now up close, was too brilliant for Rose to gaze upon. She needed to squint. His face was so mesmerizing, it looked like it was sparkling. Of course, she knew it was just the lamplight illuminating the floating dust particles that caused the effect. "What are you talking about?" His prior anger was now nowhere to be seen, as Exasperation washed it away. Oh, this expression of his is nice too, Rose thought as she peered out from under her hood. What type of people request love potions? Perhaps they have no confidence in themselves. Maybe their love interest is unattainable, or someone who already has a partner. Whatever the circumstances, the one indisputable fact is that they have someone they want to make fall in love with them. Rose's one-sided crush had suddenly paid a visit to her home. He came asking her to make him a love potion. Not only did Harij not know about Rose's feelings for him, but he obviously didn't even know she existed. After all, their relationship was nothing more than her falling in love with a man at first sight during a visit to the city. The only thing that a recluse witch who wasn't even on his radar until now could do was lengthen the time they had together before giving him the potion. She didn't dare dream of him recuperating her feelings. All she wanted was to take up a small place in his memories. A little shyness on her side was a fair trade. As a human, she deserved praise for not just dumping a love potion on his head the moment they met. It made her a failure of a witch, though. The next ingredient is the antenna of the rainbow longhorned grasshopper. Make sure you pluck it off on the night of a full moon. Wasn't there just a full moon last week? Indeed, there was. Rose nodded as if he just told her the sky was blue. Thanks to the full moon only appearing once a month, she just earned herself almost a whole month before he could obtain the next ingredient. I don't have that much time. A blue line bulged from Harij's temple. It was a thick vein. If she wasn't careful, she might become captivated by its beauty. Even the sheltered witch knew he didn't have a lot of free time. Harij Sim was a royal knight who worked in the magnificent palace that was visible even from the forest on the capital's outskirts. He was an S-class elite knight. Through Rose's research, she learned that his father was even a member of the aristocracy. That word is hard, y'all. He's an aristocrat. That's all we need to know. That word is fancy and difficult for my little mouth to speak. Under normal circumstances, he was not the type of person to secretly frequent a hovel like hers. And that was precisely why Rose was so surprised by his first visit. I see. Well, not much we can do about your lack of time, is there? How unfortunate. Disappointment turned down her lips, making her expression match her words. Harij exhaled an extra pathetic sigh, as if he picked up on her and said, "This potion won't be finished unless you prepare the ingredients, Mr. Client," and her stout refusal to arrange for the ingredients herself. His sigh spoke volumes about how much he wanted the love potion, no matter the time, money, or effort it took to attain. "Oh, what a waste!" Rose cried out in a loud voice. Rather than becoming depressed about how badly he wanted a love potion, "Please be sure to tell me the next time you are going to sigh. A beautiful man's sighs are a prime ingredient in potion making." "I'll never tell you!" An angry shout rang through the witch's abode. Emotion hidden from her face, Rose watched it displease her rage storm from her dwelling. And there's chapter 1 right there. But y'all, that is the first prologue of "Hi, I'm a witch and my crush wants me to make him a love potion." Like, it's super cute. So, you guys, let me know if you really like this. It's a light novel. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you want me to read more of it, because I am totes down for reading a whole bunch more of this. I actually, not gonna lie, I read the whole entire manga. I found it online yesterday, and I binge read it. There was only like 15 chapters I could read. So, like, I know what happens throughout this manga. I know what happens in the manga. I don't know how many changes there are, but I did finish reading this light novel this morning. I just went to the part in where the manga ended in a light novel. So yeah, I love this manga. I love the manga. The light novel has my heart and soul right now. Let me know what other ones you want me to read. I'm reading a couple of other light novels as well. So totes let me know what y'all guys want me to read. what you're interested in. I'm totes down. Send me your fan fictions if you want me to read those and react to those. Send me your Reddit stories, light novels you want me to read. You can even like tell me like, hey, this is an original story that someone wrote or something. I'll go and I'll buy the book, or I'll get it from my local library and I'll read that aloud and we can like read together, y'all. Well, for now, I hope you're all staying healthy, all that good stuff. Remember to drink. I have been sipping on my Baja Blast, and it's not exactly hydrating me, but I am having a grand old time, let me tell you. So yeah, thank you all so much for being here. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.